To program elevator recall for a Gamewell-FCI panel utilizing the CAMWorks software is a little different than a notifier. What you'll want to do, as you did with notifiers, plan ahead. The way CAMWorks works or operates is the input devices are assigned an input group, and then the output devices are assigned an output group. Unlike assigning a zone to both devices that are the same to link them together, in CAMWorks you have to write an equation. We'll also add a couple bypass buttons to the system just to show you how that's done. Let's expand our project, and we'll start by taking a look at the switch module. We've already programmed an ASM16 on this and just designating two switches, one of them to bypass the elevator control modules and the other one to bypass the elevator machine room and hoistway input devices. One thing to note, the way CAMWorks operates is that it uses SSM bit numbers, so we'll use those later. Moving on to our input devices, the fourth column allows us to assign a group and then disable all these devices with a single button. Once that's done, we need to come to the individual devices and assign them a group that'll correlate with what we want the elevator to do. And these are going to be the input groups that we're going to reference later. So we look at our sheet again. 80 was for the main recall, and so on. So the basement will do main recall. First floor is alternate, which is 81. These floors will all do the main recall. The elevator machine room's on the first floor, so it'll go to the alternate level, which is 81. The pit will do main recall, and so will the top of the hoistway. Once that's done, we'll come back. We need to make all these devices here do the blinking hat for the elevator, so that was 82. So we'll give these devices 82. And the machine room heat needs to do the shunt trip, 83. The hoistway will do the blinking hat and the hatch, which was 84. And the pit will also do the blinking hat and shunt trip. Moving to the output devices, we need to program them to tell them when to activate. Remember these output groups here. We're going to put them into the columns here. So the elevator main recall is 180, alternate 181, hat 182. Elevator shunt is going to be 183, and finally elevator hatch will be 184. Now these groups are not going to do anything until we program equations for them, which will be next. Now it's time to link those inputs to the outputs. That's done by programming CAM statements. So we'll go to our output groups. Remember, our output group 180 was for the elevator main recall, and the input devices were assigned to group 80, which you see there. And there's an and not group 448, which is the switch to bypass, which will prevent that equation from working. What can be done? We'll just copy that equation, paste it in for the elevator hatch, change that number to 84, and then you'll be good to go. Save, and we'll move on to the next thing. Now we need to apply those bypass switches to some disabled groups. Without doing this, the system will not indicate a trouble. So you'll see switch 448 was for the elevator module bypass. We've already entered that. And for disabling those detectors, that was switch 449, and we've got that programmed in. So that'll indicate a trouble on the system when that switch is pressed. The last thing to do here is to apply a time delay to the elevator shunt trip. So under here you can enter 30 seconds or 45, whatever you need. Apply it to your output group, save it, and then when you go and look at your output groups again, you'll see that there's a 30-second delay on the elevator shunt trip. You should now be able to load this program into your fire alarm panel and test it with coordination of the elevator contractor.